set me free, set me free from my sin and hatred. Taught me how to spot the agents in the matrix. Set me free, set me free, set me free from my sin and hatred. Taught me how to spot the agents in the matrix.
Number 7, part of the amendment. If any legal case involving a civil lawsuit between two persons or groups, the defendant has the right to a trial by jury if the amount in question is over $20. Now, we all know under statutory codes, most people absolutely are not being tried in nobody's courts, because those are statutory courts. Statutory is not for the people. I can tell you that right now. It is totally against you. Everybody take their oath to the Constitution. They're there to protect your rights. But what we're seeing in almost all of the courts, and some might be changing, but they're absolutely acting under statutory codes. Statutory codes, that is not law. Okay, but nobody's challenging the statutory codes. We must challenge the statutory codes. We must do a constitutional challenge, which we know that goes to your attorney general, your state attorney general. All right, so let's move on. We're going to number 8 on the amendment to the Constitution. No excessive bail or fines or cruel and unusual punishment shall be used against a convicted criminal. Well, we all know that most of these courts put the bail up and you can't get your loved ones out. Just doesn't happen because there's more going on there than meets the eye. Okay. The bail, it should be so that you can afford it and you are able to get out, be able to prepare, go get an attorney of your choice, not one being given or thrown at you that's not really going to represent you. Okay, so moving on to number 9. This is very, very important. Please listen. No one shall be denied their basic constitutional rights, or should I say protected rights. Now, we know that the federal courts are there to protect your constitutional rights. Whenever you have any problem with the state courts, you're supposed to move your case to the federal courts. They are supposed to protect your constitutional rights. Now, what we're not doing is we're simply not sitting down with a pen and writing to the Attorney General stating that, hey, I am going to challenge the statutory code language. I am going to challenge the fact that my constitutional protected rights have been violated. We've got to sit down and we've got to write something to the Attorney General, because if I put a piece of candy on the table and I don't tell anyone, well, they don't know, right? It's just sitting there. So the next person that come along, sit at the table, guess what? They don't know who that candy belonged to. Okay. So what I'm saying is, if you do not put the pen to the paper and state that your constitutional rights have been violated, they don't know. We've got to get these letters out. We've got to form a committee, and we have got to diligently get this information out. We've got to write these letters. Okay. If you know friends that are have loved ones in prison, husbands, wives, we've got to absolutely get this information written, and we've got to challenge these courts. Now, we can see with our own eyes that things aren't right. So we've got to challenge the constitutional protected right. I mean, we've got to challenge the statutory codes and the language thereof. Okay, moving forward. A citizen from one state cannot sue a citizen in another state in federal court. Now, what does that mean? That means that if there is, say for instance, you are a state national. Okay. Now you are stating that you are a state national. You have presented this, you know that. Now you have another state that is trying to come against you. It states right here in your constitution, a citizen from one state cannot sue a citizen in another state. So we need to really, really pay attention to that. Okay. Now, we're going to 13, and this is going to be, nope, we're going to do 13 and we're going to do 15. But I'm going to skip to 15, and I want 13 to be the last one. It's actually a whole lot of them on here, but these are the ones I really wanted to pinpoint. I really, really wanted to stress this information. I needed to get it out, okay? Just in case we forgot about our protected constitutional rights. Now, let's go to 15. African American males were guaranteed the right to vote, and race, color, or previous condition of servitude could not be used as a reason to refuse anyone the right to vote. Well, we have a young man, Al Sharpton's brother, Kenneth Glasgow. He has done a pretty good job of fighting for restoration of your voters' rights. Not that we need to vote, because, you know, electoral votes, they kind of do their own thing, and they're the ones that make the final decision. So anyway, voting is not a good thing for our people. Okay, let's go back to 13. Involuntary servitude. Slavery was abolished unless it was the result of a sentence passed by a court of law upon conviction of a crime. Now I want you to think about that for a minute, because everything is commercial. Now, if we go back to, let's say, CFR 7211, now it simply states that everything is commercial. Robbery, murder, kidnapping. It's quite a few things on that list if you'll just go and look it up yourself. CFR 7211. All crimes are commercial crimes. Now, do we have people out there that is even challenging the Constitution? I mean, are they challenging, the statutory codes? It's got to be challenged. Because if everything is commercial and our people are going to prison and jail under these statutory codes that are basically null and void if they are acting under the statutory codes and it's not in harmony with the Constitution, guess what? You need to be talking about it. You need to be bringing these issues up. Now, moving forward, because this platform, I just wanted to basically put out some basic stuff so that you can remember your rights that you do have, protected rights. They haven't went anywhere. They're still here, okay? They need to be utilized. All right, now, moving forward. I want to first talk about an issue. I received some information this morning, and I wasn't startled by it, but it did upset my spirit. Okay. Now, This is a young lady that's in prison. Like a lot of our young people, they've locked up half of them, over half. And a lot of them are not there because they actually have done anything. So we've got to get out of that mindset that, oh, they're in prison, they must have done something wrong. No. The system is fixed. And what we have to understand is it's designed to lock the indigenous children or people up. Not because they went out and done, a lot of them have not done anything horrible. But what we do have, we have officers that will write up a report under his supposedly oath and tell a lie. And I know from first experience, believe me when I tell you. So I know it's being done. These are facts. Now, there was a young lady that called me this morning. She called from Pulaski State Prison. And this prison is a female prison. It's a woman prison. It's located in Hawkinsville, Georgia. So if you know anyone that has or have relatives or son, a daughter or auntie or sister or whoever that is there, come on and let's talk about it. Now, this is what I was told this morning, and she's a reliable source. She's not going to sit up and tell a lie for no reason, I don't think. Now, she talked about how the young ladies in the prison, how they were being raped. She stated that they only really have 2 guards. Now, the ratio, I know they've actually been told to stand down. Let's keep that in mind. But the ones that are left inside are causing havoc. And those issues, they have to be addressed. Now, the young lady stated that in Pulaski State Prison, you had females that were having issues. Now, this is how they're being treated. This is a person that called. She's on the inside. And of course, we will not put out names. Now, what she stated to me is if they have an issue, they are told. Well, actually, basically, they're not really told anything. They disregard what they're saying. She told me about one young lady or a few young ladies that had issues. No nurse came in. They were not allowed to go see a nurse. One young lady was beaten in the head by 2 officers. They left a hole almost in her head, is the way she explained it. She said it was so much blood coming from this young lady's head. She said, I couldn't believe it. Now, to move a little further, to move forward, she stated that there is an indigenous warden, female, and when I say indigenous, is what some people call black, which black is a misnomer. There is no such thing as black. We've got to stop calling ourselves black because it doesn't even, we are not black. Beige, brown. Look like that penny, don't
Melanin. Copper.
Yes. So, it was stated that when the young ladies come or try to tell what is actually going on, the warden will threaten them by saying she's going to send them to the trenches. What that means is there are a lot of so-called gang members in the trenches. So that absolutely will scare them up so that they will not say anything. Okay? That's a problem. I have a problem with that. Now, where is your grievance? People should be able to file a grievance in these prisons, but what we're realizing is when they file one, they're retaliated against. You're absolutely right. They retaliate. So just because we can't see it doesn't mean there aren't horrible things going on. We have to think, if it's going on the outside, what do you think is going on the inside? That is why we have to be a voice for our people and all people. Black, white, green, purple, it doesn't matter. So my problem is we have issues. You have the stories. I have the platform. I want each of you that have any problems in reference to your loved ones being in these prisons, I need you to bring those stories to us. ITAV, Project 48 Foundation Incorporated. We are a nonprofit organization, and we will keep this platform up as long as we have to. Now, the email is, let me give you the email, because you can email your stories in. Mary, M-A-R-Y, D as in David, A as in Apple, L as in Lima, E as in Echo, V as in Victory, I-L-L-E, the number 4 at AOL.com. The phone number is 678-478-4142, and also 334-718-9784. Now, I want you all to go out, because like I stated earlier, half of our people, a little bit more than half, have been incarcerated. Have they been incarcerated because they are bad people? No. They've been incarcerated because it's a bad system. And we have to correct that. Now, we can bury our heads and act like we don't care or we don't want to know. But it's someone else today, it could be you tomorrow. We must speak up. Like I stated, this is a platform for people in jail, or if you have loved ones in the prisons. We need to, I have a list of all the prisons, Georgia, Alabama, and I can look them up. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter where your loved ones are at. We can look up the information, and we can also give you addresses. We can give you warden's name. If you want us to write, let us know. But what I'm saying is, we have to do something. Now, I don't have the information in front of me, but going off of memory. And it has to do with a lot of cases. We received this information probably about 7 years ago. If you have a loved one, you don't have access to this feature. If you have loved ones that have went into those prisons and they have a drug charge, now, in a lot of the states, I have pulled their information. This is new information. Well, actually, it's not new. Some of it's been out for several years. Now, if they have been in the prison for drug charges, it states that most of these cases, because they were unconstitutional, they are null and void. What that means is they cannot go forward. They must dismiss these cases. We just do not have enough people that are willing to go and fight for their loved ones. We think Oh, they locked them up. They've really been kidnapped. Let's talk about that. Because kidnapping is exactly what it is. Just like they stole your houses and your cars, it's all the same game. You got to wake up and see it. We all must be a voice for them. This is serious. If we don't speak up now, then when? We must. If you've got to get up and make a call, I call around to all the prisons. Your child is my child. I call around. I will speak to wardens if I can get them on the phone. I'll speak to security. I'll speak to, a lot of them know my name. I'll just say it like that. Because I'm concerned about all of our children. We must speak up. Now, Miss Nevaeh, is there anything that you would like to present to the people while we're here?
Well, I've been taking notes, and we have several people that I've been responding to online. That's why my head's been down, so pardon me.
Mhm.
But right now, the platform stands as, I agree with you. We must come together. I too am a parent of my son who is incarcerated, and he has been held captive for over 16 years now. And it's time for him to come home.
Yes, it is.
And it's very hurtful to see how our loved ones are mistreated in the system, and automatically found guilty of a crime and mistreated when they get to the system, instead of trying to help them and to see where the core problems come from. So we're trying to put resources together so that we can build on loved ones coming together for our loved ones in the system. And
Yes,
I
we
just
must.
appreciate you inviting me on, and I hope that we all can come together to help our loved ones that are incarcerated. It's not fair that they go hungry. It's not fair that they're sleeping on the floor. But I forgot, life isn't fair, because it's the choices that we make will be the outcome of some things that, from the choices that we make. I get that, but it's not right to give our brown melanin young men a longer sentence than they do someone else of a different nationality, of different culture, whatever you want to call it. And it's done
Right.
here in Douglasville, Georgia, right in our faces. And I've had the opportunity to march with Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, and they came, they went, they left, and the problem is still here. And we have to take a stand. We can't continue to allow outsiders to come in to handle our problems that we elect these officials to
I agree.
assist. They're here to work for us. That is the reason why you are paying taxes. That is the reason why you are
Supposedly, yes.
supposedly right. And that's the reason why they, come around and say, vote for me, because I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And we have
They're
to
gonna do
hold them accountable for the things that
Absolutely.
they said that they are going to do. And we hired them to do a job to be the voice. So if they don't want to speak up, then we will have to speak for them, because
We
we
must.
are the people and you are the people. And we are the people that put them in office, and we have to hold them accountable for their actions.
Yes.
And if they're going to hire private entities, which they have stock in, then we definitely have to hold them accountable
Yes.
and file claims against them and their atrocities and their oppressions.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree totally. Absolutely. So let me just present this to you tonight. Now, we must bring a group together that's willing to fight a good fight. It's time for our children to come out of those prisons. Now, these are the things that I want to present to you that can be utilized right now, but a lot of the people do not know about how to go about filing the paperwork. Number one is a habeas corpus. You can file a habeas corpus that goes into your federal prison. Remember, these are their protected constitutional rights. That is why we send these habeas corpuses to the federal prisons.
But don't forget what type of habeas corpus that they need to file, a color of law.
Yes, we must file the ones under colorable law. Absolutely, thank you.
Can you explain to them the difference, what colorable law is?
Well, let's just say that when statutory is colorable law, and we all know that most courts are acting under the statutory codes. Now, this is something that the FBI is absolutely looking into, so they say. So if we have anything in reference to any of these people acting under the colorable law, then that is, you need to present your habeas corpus under colorable law. When we come back on, I will actually be showing you each one that you can file depending on whether or not you're state, federal, that will be brought to the platform. Okay. Okay, the next thing, thank you, Mr. Day.
You're welcome.
The next thing we need to talk about is 42 USC 1983. That is also used when people are acting under colorable, or some people call it the color of law. We have to utilize these things. 42 USC 1983. This is a lawsuit that can be brought to any court, state or federal. Okay? Now, let's talk about what the 42 USC 1983 civil lawsuit will cover. Now, they came up with this because they knew there were no protection whatsoever in the courts. None. Whenever these people went and started acting on the statutory codes, everything else went out the door. You actually do not have any rights in their courts unless they came back under or been trained or retrained, should I say, under the Constitution. Every judge, every officer must take an oath. And if they have not taken that oath, and if they are not bonded, guess what? They're in trouble. You need to look at 42 USC 1983. This was put in place specifically for people that were being discriminated against under colorable law. Now, if you want to, let's talk about who you can sue under 42 USC 1983 civil suit. You can sue the judge if he's not honoring his oath. You can sue the prosecutor. You can sue the police officers. You can sue your county. You can sue your state. You can sue your mayors.
Court clerk.
Your court clerks. That's right.
That's who you start with.
That's who you start with. So guess what? I've given you enough information so that you can absolutely begin to ask questions. Look these things up. Do not take my word for it. Look it up. Look it up and see what it says. It actually is some great information in reference to the 42 USC 1983 lawsuit. You don't have to go to anyone and get them to file it. If you know how to do paperwork, you can sit there and you can begin to fill your own paperwork out. If you do not want to do it, we can help. But if you can do it, try doing it yourself. The paperwork has got to be put in. So anyway, this is going to conclude this platform for the night. The project, ITAV project for prisoners. And Ms. Nevaeh, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yes. This being your platform, we would like to thank you and just let everyone know that we're just volunteering. We're not giving out any legal advice.
No legal advice.
We're not lawyers. We are natural born women, indigenous to this land.
And we're learned in law.
And we are learned in law and in life.
And in life.
F-E.
Yes.
And we have loved ones that are incarcerated, and we have family and friends that are incarcerated, and the loved ones that are on the outside are suffering as well, because the main purpose to the incarceration is a form of slavery. It is a form of oppression.
Yes, it is.
It is a form of taking the men out of the homes and breaking the homes. Once the man is out of the home, then they can start wrecking the home, because all the pressure is on the loved one that is left there, which 9 times out of 10 is the mother.
Yes.
Now she's trying to raise the family and keep them together. And then our young children get lost in the shuffle because we are out working and trying to provide and continue keeping the foundation lifted while the absent parent is serving time for a lot of things that are not necessary, that could have been handled in a different form of matter. And that's what we're trying to do. Rewrite the laws. We're trying to make those see that we are alive. And I'm trying to be careful with the words that I use, because I understand that we are on YouTube. So please pardon me. And this is just our first run, and we'll get better as time permits and as time allows. But we're just interested women in law, and we know that something needs to be done. And we're here to stand on that platform, and we ask that we grow. And this is the real tea. This is reality. This is the real reality show. There's no makeup on there. This is what's really happening, and this is what's really going up, not down.
Yes.
Okay. This is war. Yes. This is a spiritual warfare against our family and our loved ones, and we're here to take a stand.
Absolutely. And they're all actually prisoners of war. All of our children and people that are locked up, they are prisoners of war. So we should be greatly concerned. I'm sorry. Yep. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, we're good. So just remember, we're not here to give out legal advice. We're here to assist and hear the tea, so that we can spread the real tea of what's going on with your loved ones behind bars.
Yes. So we are about to, I see there was some more people that came on, but we're getting ready to end this for tonight. But we will be back on next Monday. Okay? So time 8:00. Thank you.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. Absolutely. We will be back on 8:00 next Monday. So tell your friends, tell your loved ones, let the people in jails and prisons know there's a platform that we're building for them. It starts here. Okay? We must tell the truth. We must fight for our loved ones. I must fight for mine. Miss Nevaeh must fight for hers, and you must fight for yours. We want to be the people to help you get your stories out. So if you have a story, or if you know of anyone that has any issues inside of any of these prisons or jails, jails or prisons too, okay? If you have no freedom, you have been enslaved, or we call it human trafficking. There are laws against that too. But anyway, moving forward, thank you for your time tonight. I know we got started a little late. We'll have everything together next week. We had a few technical issues, and I think the kinks are out now. So I would like to just say you're all welcome to come and tell your stories. Go out and share this, please, with everybody. Put it on Facebook or whatever platform you might have. And we look forward to telling your stories of anybody that's incarcerated. It's time to bring our people out. We will no longer accept it. They must release them.
Set me free, set me free, set